Hey everybody, this is To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie Katona.
And Dina Alkatib.
On this podcast, Dina and I explore some of the impactful relationships we've had with men. We then thank them for the lessons that they gave us and leave them with some positive manifestations we hope for their future. Today, tolerators, we're going to dissect the label friendzone and talk about our experiences with friends who we wish were lovers or maybe became lovers.
So I went on Urban Dictionary and looked up friendzone. So let's dive into the definition.
What's the definition?
It says, friendzone is a particularly aggravating metaphorical place that people end up in when someone they are interested in only wants to be friends. It is impossible to get over while in the friend zone because as friends you still see them too often for them to be erased from your memory, and yet you cannot be with them the way you want. Actually a really great definition for Urban Dictionary. Usually Urban Dictionary is like a troll.
That is really great. It was almost poetic. I could just paint the state of the friend zone from that dictionary.
I mean, true.
I find that when I was younger, I was constantly in the friend zone, and now that I'm older, I only believe that friend zone is still a term used by weak men.
I mean, honestly, I don't hear, in my experience, I haven't heard a lot of women using or talking about the friend zone. It's usually men.
It's usually men, and it's usually because they're having some sort of tantrum, or they're like, I just don't get it. I bought her M&Ms that one time. You think she'd want to fuck me?
Dude, I'd die for some M&Ms.
I mean, actually, the guy that I talked about, I fucked the guy I'm talking about today after he bought me Baskin Robbins.
I mean, that's the best. Truly, food is the best thing you can get for a woman.
I think he made me a frozen pizza.
He made you a frozen pizza and he got you Baskin Robbins? That's adorable! What the heck? I want that. I'm jealous.
Oh my god.
Honestly, I'm jealous.
So, my friend zone spans 6 years.
Damn! I don't know if that's a zone anymore. That's like a friend decade. Friend zone. Friend era.
So, I met this man my sophomore year of high school, and maybe he was a junior, or maybe I was a junior and he was a senior. I do know that there were points of my high school journey where he was gone because he had done graduated, but I also know that he was a year older than me. So, when we talked about our crushes, there was a girl who was dating my best friend who I thought it would be convenient to date. That girl and that best friend eventually broke up. And I guess I could have done him for the friend zone, but this guy's more interesting. So this girl starts dating a guy that's older than us. And for whatever reason, he and I clicked as buddies. We would just bro out all the time. And I worked at McDonald's during this point in high school, and we also worked with this woman. She was dating this guy, but she wanted to be dating a guy that we worked with at McDonald's, who was very clean cut, went to church every Sunday, had good morals. I would talk in my sex operator voice to him in the headset at McDonald's until he told me to stop it. I'd be like, hey, I need a 10-piece chicken McNugget at the front window. Could you get me that chicken nugget?
With your big, strong arms.
And this girl and I, my best friend at the time, her boyfriend, me, and this guy that I was friends with, but it was like platonic and I never wanted to be romantic with, we would go on like double dates. So this girl, I should give her a fake name. Janet. So Janet would like, she really wanted this McDonald's dude so bad. And
Imagine.
she was so mad because like once I started working at McDonald's and he and I became very close, I became like his co-pilot in life. We would take drives and we would like sing screaming to like Journey and 80s songs and whatever. And Janet would be all like, why do you take Natalie on so many drives and why does she get to sit in the front seat every time we go somewhere? And he'd go, that's Natalie's like place in life. I'm driver's seat,
Oh, the
Natalie's place
jealousy.
in the passenger seat. So then she would be like, well, why don't you just come out and hang out with me and my boyfriend? And we'd be like, okay. So we'd we would have, because Stephanie worked at McDonald's too from our mom's episode. So we would just dump our cars in the parking lot of McDonald's and then get into someone else's car and go elsewhere.
Wow, McDonald's party, bro.
Right. So me and platonic boy would go and meet Janet and her boyfriend, and me and Janet's boyfriend would always be sitting across the table from one another. And Dina, like, we were gross. We were like horrendous people because number one, we were mean. And
You were a mean girl?
yes, I'm not going to come off great in this story. Like 100%. Yeah. So friend's boyfriend and I, we would sit across from one another. And one time we were at Steak and Shake. And to be fair, Janet and this boy didn't have a great relationship. Like, they didn't even like one another. Janet has a certain man in mind of who she should be with and who she should be dating. And she's kind of with this guy who's like kind of a bad boy, kind of like sad and emo sometimes, and like is older than us and crotchety.
Damn, crotchety? How old was he?
And I love crotchety because my goal in life is to make crotchety people like happy and laugh. So like he's angry all the time and I'm just like, but you love me. And then like making jokes and he'd laugh. So we're at Steak and Shake on one of our weird non-double dates. And he's sitting across from me, my friend zone guy. And like we're eating and we go to reach for a napkin and both of our hands touch. And I look at him and I'm like, my napkin or your napkin? And he goes, I think it's our napkin. I think we've been sharing it the entire time.
Oh, no.
And Janet loses her cool. She's like, the two of you are so gross, and you're always doing this, and you always have to be weird while we're eating. And we're like,
oh my God, Janet, slow your roll.
And to be fair, it's true. Like, whenever we would go on these, like, fake double dates, like, it was almost like the couples swapped. It's like we did a wife swap situation. And I would end up talking to Friendzone, and she would end up drooling over platonic McDonald's guy. And it's like, what are we doing here? Why are we here?
Yeah.
Friendzone guy and Janet end up breaking up multiple times by the time we finish up high school. He wasn't around for my prom. So I tried on my prom dress yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw that you were going to do that. How was that?
Well, it's like, I didn't think it would be as indecent to get it on as indecent as it was. So I was going to post pictures of me in my prom dress to be like, what am I doing right now? I am insane. But she had Goodwill now. She donated.
Oh, great. Now somebody else can have a cringy prom.
So Friendzone guy wasn't at our prom because they were broken up. However, he was part of my senior year going into college summer for some reason. And we went to Six Flags. And the entire time we're at Six Flags, he's like sticking. Whoa. Well, this also happened after a bad moment in our So Janet had a graduation party and we all slept in a tent outside in her yard. And like so it was like me, Janet, friendzone dude, and then our two friends who were guys who were partnered up, our two gay friends. And I slept like with the gay friends as like the single lady. I was like, I'll just
Love
sleep
that.
cuddling with you guys. And one of the boys woke up the next day and he was like, I was so worried because it almost happened. I like woke up in the middle of the night and my face was like almost in your tits. Like we had almost just started cuddling.
I mean, they are life's pillows.
They are. So Friendzone wakes up a little bit and he goes, oh man, but what a way to wake up though.
Oh my god.
And it hit a particular trigger point with Janet because
Dude,
she's part
Janet needs to chill.
Well, she's part of the itty bitty titty committee. So she like, and as we know, I am not.
Right.
So she like it triggers some sort of insecurity in her, and she's like, I'm too hot in this tent, and she like bolts out of the tent and like rolls around in the morning dew or something to cool herself off. The rest of us are like, what the fuck?
Is she having a manic episode? Is Janet okay?
Is Janet okay? And then she's like, I'm making pancakes, and she makes us pancakes. I don't even think we ate the pancakes. I think we left. So her and Friendzone are on the rocks again, and we're going to Six Flags. We all like skipped our shifts at McDonald's to go to Six Flags. And I get overheated at Six Flags, and I have to like stop riding the rides. And Friendzone just starts getting madder and madder at Janet because she's in some like manic, like, we're having the best day of our lives mode. And he's like, you're not listening to anyone. Natalie is sick. She will throw up on all of us. Get her air conditioning or kill your best friend. This is what we're doing.
Those are the options.
So we went and we saw another girl from high school that we went to high school with. She worked at Six Flags as one of their singers. So we went to her show because it had air conditioning. And it was a show where like a little person would come out and like sing a cover of a song. And one of them was, and Janet is pissed because me being sick and Friendzone yelling at her has ruined her like picturesque day in her, like she's done talking to us. Eventually, my other friend who was with us and Friendzone had to switch seats in the ride. So Friendzone had to sit with me in the rides. And Janet sat with our other friends because Janet hated Friendzone and I.
Damn, the high school drama is real right now at Six Flags.
So we're at this show and some little guy comes out and he starts singing David Bowie's You Want to Make a Memory. And Janet is extremely pissed off at this point because I start to perk up in the air conditioning. And as I start to perk up, so does Friendzone. So we're dancing. We're like, we're singing to one another over her because she's sitting in between us.
Yeah.
We're being our most obnoxious selves. And I get like delirious. And I launch myself across her lap and I like flop onto him and I'm like, you, me, 5 minutes, bathroom, let's make a memory. Because I think I'm so funny.
And this is her boyfriend, correct?
This is her boyfriend.
Oh, God.
I'm not funny. I think I'm funny.
This poor girl. Damn.
And then the girl from our high school who performed at the show, she was like, oh my gosh, it was so cute to see like Natalie and Friendzone like dancing and vibing. And they had like such good moves and choreography. And they kept singing to one another. Like Janet's left.
Damn. Poor Janet. I feel kind of bad for her.
You're gonna feel worse.
Oh no.
They break up shortly after that. And then Janet and I have a falling out because on the eve of me moving away from college, Janet decided to stay local to our town that we grew up with for Friendzone, and then he dumped her. So now I'm leaving, and McDonald's guy that she has a crush on, like good clean cut McDonald's guy,
Yes.
he's throwing me a last night out. And he's supposed to pay for my dinner, and we're going to go to Orange Julius because we love Orange Julius. And he makes us all stand in a circle, and then he makes everyone say something good that they hope for me during my freshman
lovely.
first semester until we can all be together again. And
Yeah.
Janet
No.
has like a meltdown.
No.
First off, she made my friend buy her dinner instead of me dinner because she forgot her wallet. And then he looked at me and goes, I can't afford 3 dinners at Chili's. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, everything's fine. It's also when she had the meltdown that I always get to sit in the front seat. Like, she's had multiple meltdowns. And now this is the grand finale. She goes, well, I guess we're all real sad that Natalie is going away to school. But I think that we should remember that I will still be here. And maybe that could be good enough for once. And we're just like, all right, time to get into the car. It's time to get into the car.
This is jealousy to the max.
Yeah.
This is more a story about jealousy than Friendzone at this point.
I know. I don't even know. I've derailed our episode. However, I go to school. Me and Friendzone, we start texting every day. My mom has to get me a unlimited texting plan because texting used to not be unlimited and you had to pay like 15 cents for every text or something.
Yes, we
and
remember.
Friendzone and I are texting all day, every day. Like, how was this class? How was your second class? Oh my God, what are you up to? Blah, 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 blah. Did you ever make up with Janet? No, I don't want to make up with Janet. What about you? And he's like, oh yeah, I think we're getting back together. And I'm like, okay, I'll make up with Janet. Like, it's that. I go home for my first time back from school, and Janet wants to go to Fazoli's with me. And I think that I should have another moment of comedy. And she's like walking towards me with her arms outraised, like to give me a hug. And I make eye contact with Friendzone across her shoulder, and he just nods at me. So Dina, I run across a parking lot of Fazoli's. I dive under this woman's outstretched arm, and I leap into Friendzone's arms like it's Dirty Dancing.
Iconic moment.
He picks me up. We spin in our most beautiful reunion. And he sets me down. She hasn't talked to us for the entire Fazoli's night.
Oh no, poor Janet.
Because we're mean. And that was like our entire friendship too, was like him and I hyping up how close we were and just leaving her out.
I feel like, damn, I feel bad for Janet.
I know. I kind of feel bad too, but
pour one out for Janet, man.
Pour one out for Janet. So I go back to school and Friendzone texts me and he goes, I think I'm going to dump Janet and this will be the last time. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
What? Like, you guys are now a unit. Like, let's collectively dump Janet. Oh, Janet.
So we collectively dumped Janet. And then my freshman, maybe not my sophomore year of college, but like Friendzone would like come and visit me at school. Nothing would happen. It was very much a low simmer. And then like we would also hang out when I was home. And we'd always have to hang out late at night because he worked a security job for Aldi at night.
Okay.
So I have all of these memories of like him and I just like on my parents' couch. I don't know where my parents are. Maybe I snuck him in. Maybe they're gone. I don't know. And we're just like chatting all the time. And there's always this low simmer. And then like he'd date girls that are a little bit younger than me. And then I'd be mad. And then we go to Olive Garden and his like little younger girlfriend wouldn't be there. And we would just like be with her friends, but being our like hyped awful selves like we were with Janet. Like one time we were at Olive Garden and we split a plate of ravioli and the guy put it down and he goes, "Oh, I'll get you a plate. I forgot that the two of you were sharing." And Friendzone just went, "No, dude, it's fine." And we just shared the same plate. And then someone went, "The two of you are gross." Like, why are you sharing a plate?
You know what the common denominator of all of our stories are? Is like a couch and Olive Garden.
A couch and Olive Garden.
Like, there's always a couch involved and somebody is always going to Olive Garden.
Right. And like, and then there's always like this low simmer to our friendship. And I was like, he should be in love with me. That would be really convenient. Stop dating girls that are younger than us. They're not fun. And then I date the guy that I lost my virginity to, so I cool it with Friendzone. Like, we kind of lose touch. And then the guy that I lost my virginity starts not treating me to the caliber that I feel like I deserve. Like, he's not giving me, like, attention that my manic early 20-year-old self feels like I deserve. So then I start texting Friendzone again. It all started on a Halloween where I was dressed like Rachel Berry from Glee, which really means that I was dressed like a hot schoolgirl. And I'm just like, oh my God, virginity guy isn't going to take me out dancing, but look how I look. And thus Friendzone got to come back into my life.
Ooh, he was ready.
So then when virginity guy and I went on a break... It was after my mom left my dad, and I just needed any excuse to be out of the house. So, like, I also broke up with virginity guy because he had a lot more toxic feelings about my parents' divorce than I ever got to have. So, because he worked with my mom, his job got a little bit harder, so he wants to complain to me all the time about my own trauma. And we stopped doing things together, and he had to move back in with his parents, so we stopped having sex, and I was like, we're breaking up. And Friendzone guy, I would text him in the middle of the night and be like, come get me, I'm irritated at my dad, I can't handle being in this house or whatever, and we would go driving.
Love that.
And we would go driving, and we would, like, park. We would park, at, like, one of the local parks. Or
oh my God, everybody did this. This is such a iconic moment. Driving and then parking and looking at the stars or some shit.
Yeah. And I remember he looked at me during one of these drives and he asked me, he goes, you know, it's been a couple of months. How do you feel about the fact that your mom left? Like, she lives in Illinois now. How do you even feel about that? And I looked at him and I was like, Friendzone, you are the first person to ask me that. I have a father, I have a sister, I have an ex-boyfriend who are so wrapped up in the way that they handle that no one's asked me. And then the first time we kissed, it was because my friend ditched me at karaoke to go to a bonfire with strangers. And I got to have, like, this trashy, like, officer and a gentleman moment. He tried to call me to be like, the National Guard needs me to go, like, be part of a hurricane relief or something. I was like, what? You're fighting a hurricane? Because I'm drunk at karaoke. And he's trying to get a hold of me because we go driving every night and we've hung out every night. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Who fights a hurricane? He goes, no, I'm not, like, actively fighting the hurricane.
What is this story right now?
And then my friend, like, leaves me for strangers at a bonfire. And I told him, I was like, I think I have to, like, walk home. Like, I can't call my dad and be like, I'm drunk at karaoke, come and get me. And he's like, I've finished packing. I'll come pick you up. I will drop you off at your home. And then I'll go to New York. I think that's where he was going for the hurricane relief. So he comes and picks me up. It's like the trashiest, like, officer and a gentleman moment ever. Because he's in his, like, United Guard, the Army Guard Reserves. I don't even know what it's called anymore. The National Guard.
National Guard, yes.
And I like sloppily like throw myself at him like, oh, you came to give me a ride home. And then he like takes me. He's like, let's go. You need to be out. And we're sitting in my driveway and he's like, I just feel like it's weird that like I just have to go on the quick or whatever. And I don't even know how it happened, but all of a sudden he like leaned over and kissed me. And then because I'm drunk, I laughed at him. And we talked about this on our first
You
kiss
always
episode.
laugh when you get kissed.
Well, and he's the guy that I told, like, you're a germaphobe and now you're kissing me.
Oh, no. This poor dude.
And then we agree to, like, I don't know, we make a sex pact or something. We're going to have sex when he comes back.
How did you go from first kiss to sex pact?
I think we had been talking about the sex pact.
Okay, so it's not new.
I think we had been discussing, like, well, what if we just started having sex or whatever?
You guys are so dumb.
I know. And then, but then he's, like, away for months at a time, right? Because of the National Guard.
Right.
And I'm an unemployed college graduate. So, Dina, this is what spurs my love of sexting. He would get, like, bra pics and underwear pics, like, every night. And then he'd, like, call me and just be like, oh, your voice is the only thing that I need to get off. And I'd just be like,
damn,
hey.
That's hot as fuck.
It's hot as fuck. And that's also where I get this weird love of, like, loving the buildup. Because we would have months of just, like, sexting and talking and whatever. And then he'd come home on breaks, but he didn't have his own apartment, and I didn't have my own apartment. And he was basically living out of his car, so there was no, like, place for us to have sex.
Oh my god, Jesus.
We had no places to have sex. So we would just park and, like, make out places, I guess. I don't even remember. And then when he finally moved into his apartment, I went over. He made me a frozen pizza. He took me to Baskin Robbins. His mom came over, and that was the first time I met his mom for the first time.
What the fuck?
After 6 years of friendship, I just had to, like, sit there and be like, okay.
God, I feel like I thought we were past the cringy episodes, but we're just coming straight back into it, man. This is great.
So I met his mom, and then she leaves. We have sex on his futon. Because his bed wasn't delivered yet.
Jesus Christ. You can't make this shit up.
And this was the most romantic part. My first partner, I think we talked about how he only ever wanted to have sex on the floor so his roommate couldn't hear the bed. Did we talk about the fact that he would allow my head to hit the, like, we would do handcuff shit. And I would be handcuffed on the, like, leg of his bed, and he would let my head hit it. And he'd also let my head hit the wall.
How many concussions have you had?
Who's really to say at this
Damn
point?
it, Natalie.
I'll get a brain scan. So anyways, the most romantic part of having sex with Friendzone is my head's hitting the corner of his wall on the futon, and I'm not saying anything because no one's given a shit.
Oh my god.
I have multiple concussions from the one guy I've had sex with, and he stops, and he looks at me, and he's just like, Natalie, can we move? Like, let's move you so you're not getting your head rammed into the wall. Like, there's enough futon that this doesn't need
what the fuck
to
is
happen.
Happening here? Wait.
And I went, that's the nicest thing anyone said to me while they're inside of me. That I don't have to hit my own head. And he went, God damn it, Natalie.
God, Natalie. Why did you let that happen?
Dina, and then he comes quickly, which is a surprise to both of us because we've been very open about how we function sexually or whatever. And he has a hard time finishing. So then, like, he's blown away from it, too. I'm like, oh, my God, I am the cum queen.
Oh, my God.
I did it.
We've all felt the the ego boost from making a dude come really fast.
I've done made the unthinkable happen, and I made you come. You're welcome. You're welcome. And then I leave because we're not in a relationship. We're friends with benefits, and we've talked about that. So, like, as I'm getting dressed and, like, ready to go, he gives me, like, the weirdest hug we've ever experienced. Like, I've come home from college multiple times, gone to see him at the end of whatever job he's on. He's always scooped me up, twirled me around, like, air humped me in the air.
Damn.
When we were just friends. But now we're friends who fuck.
Oh, yeah.
So he gives me this hug, and then he, like, pats me.
What the fuck?
I call it the thanks for the sex friend
God,
hug.
that's awkward AF. What the hell? Y'all just bone. This motherfucker is like friendship hover handing you. Like, what? I'm so confused.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I got out of the friend zone. Ta-da!
What the fuck? I'm like shooketh at all of this.
We only got to have sex like 3 times between his National Guard duties and me moving to Ohio. We only got to have sex like 3 times. And we never even got to explore if it was ever going to be a thing because I vacated the premises.
So wait, like, where's he at now? Like, what's your relationship with him now?
This is fun. So the night before I move, I tell him, like, I just think, like, because I'm in a bad place with my dad. I'm thinking that I'm moving and I'm never coming back. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is it for Natalie and Friendzone's epic romance. It's been going on for 6 years. And he just looks at me and he's like, I can see you in Ohio and you can see me in Indiana. And I was like, I just don't know. And he's like,
all this fucking effort and now you're over it? God damn it, Natalie. This is why we can't have nice things.
And I'm like, I just don't know. And so he, like, I remember this vividly. He, like, slams his door shut and he's, like, invisibly drawing a map of where he usually is for National Guard and how close it is to the Ohio border.
Oh,
and he's
no.
like, so if I'm here and you're just right here, why can't we see one another? And I was like, well,
it's like one of those math things. Like, if Natalie's in Ohio and I'm in Indiana and we travel at the same speed to one point, we will intersect at the... Like, what the hell?
And I just went, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, we'll just have to figure it out as we figure it out. Like, I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know.
You got that D and you were like, I'm over it.
Right. So I move, but before I move, I go to visit a friend in North Carolina. So I'm still trying to sex the boy, right? Because I like sexting.
Okay.
And I'm getting little to no feedback. Then I move to Ohio, and I'm just doing, like, weekly check-ins with him. Like, oh, this is happening, this, that, or the other. I announce that I text him to let him know that I'm going to stay in Ohio forever, or at least for the near future. And I get a response from his current girlfriend, who is a girl that he was taking classes with while he was seeing me naked.
Okay.
She calls me the C word. She's like,
oh my
listen
God.
here, C word. He's fine. I'm fine. And you can just go. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm at work.
Damn.
Being called the C word.
She called you the C word at 2
p.m.
p.m.
And now they're married. And now they're married.
Oh, shit.
And now they're married.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So I'm assuming, I guess someone must have found their boobs, like my boobs on someone else's phone. I don't know.
Yeah, she's unnecessarily
Why would you
aggressive.
already be so angry at me?
Yeah,
I wasn't even dirty texting.
aggressive.
I was just like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be here for a while. I got a full-time job, and now I'm being called the C word. Where did you find my boobs? And can you delete those? What if I want to be president?
Right. What if I want to be president? I feel like that's not gonna happen. Okay, just based on the stories that we have talked about.
Oh, do you think that this has ruined presidency for me?
For sure. This podcast has ruined any chance of us being, like, president, which I'm fine with. I don't think I could be president anyway, but it's fine.
So, he has a wife. He's still my friend on Facebook, and he still watches my stories every once in a while. So, I'm pretty sure he's aware that this is happening. This podcast.
Wait, did he, like, reach back out to you after she, like, went nuclear on you?
No. We haven't spoken in, like, in a real capacity since he drew that map on his door to try and show me how geography works.
The math problem. Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder if he just, like, felt really dumped in that moment. And I think I wasn't trying to, like, be like, no, this is implausible. I think I was trying to, like, finagle the friends with benefits rules. I was like, well, if I vacate the premises, I just feel like you shouldn't want to be my friend who still gets to fuck me anymore because I'm not conveniently located for you to do that.
Man was willing to cross state lines.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
We used to talk about getting married out of convenience.
Well, that's not happening. Because you're a C word.
Because I'm a what?
A C word.
Because I'm a C word. I really don't feel like I am. It's not my fault he didn't delete my pictures off of his phone.
Yeah, she was unnecessarily aggressive.
I deleted the pictures he sent me off of my phone.
Yeah, but who wants to look at penises?
Oh, never. I told him, I was like, do not show me your bare penis. You can show me... Because, like, army panties are kind of cute because they're really tight, like, green briefs. So I was like, you can show me pictures of you in your army panties. And he's like, please stop calling them army panties. I was like,
yeah, no, I was going to say, I don't think anybody calls them that, but that's cute.
Just, like, with a little body bump. And he'd send me those.
Cute.
And he'd have, like, a tattoo running down the side of his, body, I don't know. And I was like, I'll look at that, but I don't want to see your penis.
Wow. That was a very in-depth, intricate fucking friend zone situation.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No, it was like, it's actually good because, like, I feel like I don't feel like I've super friend zoned anyone or anything. And I don't think anybody has really friend zoned me. So I really had to think about, like, what I was going to talk about on this show because I was like, well, maybe this could be considered friend zoning. I guess we'll find out.
Don't you usually end up dating your friends?
No. I think my last ex was the one that I, like, was friends with for a really long time. But, like, it wasn't because we didn't want to, it just wasn't convenient because he was in another state, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really consider that, like, a friend zone thing. It was, like, impossible because of the distance. But, in high school, we're gonna call this guy Cameron. I feel like I was, like, the only girl gamer in, like, my whole high school, basically. Yeah. And so it was all a bunch of dudes. And one of them, we really hit it off. Like, we would play games together. But he was like, there was never any kind of, like, romantic aspect to things. Like, I would think about it and I would be like, wow, like, we get along so well. Great chemistry. Like, why isn't it happening? And looking back on it now, I'm like, in high school, I didn't care about the way I dressed. I didn't care about self-care. I didn't know how to do makeup. Like, I was probably just a troll. So that's probably why he wasn't interested in me, like, honestly. So, but, but we did so many things together that made me, like, that felt, like, relationshipy, at least for kids in high school. So, his family was well off, and they had, like, an indoor swimming pool, and so we would always go over there, and, yeah.
An indoor? How fucking rich were these people?
They were very well off.
Do they have a movie theater, too?
No, but they could have if they wanted to. They had a huge house. But, like, I would go there and we would go swimming, and, that was the whole, like, being in your swimsuit, like, in front of your guy friend weirdness. We would play, like, Rock Band, like, together for, like, hours. I would even come over for dinner and go out to dinner with his family, like, and all the stuff. Even at one point, I had, like, stayed the night over at his place, and I'm just like, all these things made it seem like we could have been good together, but, like, it just never happened. Because I think I was one of the bros. I really got friend-zoned. Yeah. Like, I really think I was friend-zoned, looking back on it. I just don't think guys looked at me like when you're into, because all the things I was into growing up was, like, considered, quote, stereotypical guy things, like video games. I played sports, like, all just, like, very athletic and things like that. And so I had so many dude friends and very few female friends, just because I wasn't into, like, the things that they liked. Like, I didn't care about clothes. I didn't care about boys, really, like, or anything like that. I was just like, yeah, man, let's play video games. I was a bra girl. I'm still a bra girl. Like, still, to this day, I'm a bra girl. But, I think I know how to dress better now, at least. But, yeah, so I think it was just that they didn't even see me as, like, a potential for that. And we hung out a little bit through my first couple of years in high school, and then he went on to do other things. Now he's married. I think he has a child on the way, actually. I think they're having their first kid. Mm-hmm. But it was just so interesting to me that, like, I mean, I was sleeping in the same house as him and nothing. Yeah. That's just so strange to me. And then the other guy that I think I mentioned him maybe on the COVID dating episode. So this was recent. This was in 2020. During COVID, I was, like, a while after I had broken up with my ex, and so I was like, I just want some casual friends with benefits situation. And so there was this one guy, I'm calling him AJ for this episode. I don't know what the fuck I called him before, but I'm always clear with my intentions with dudes. Like, I'm like, if I only want casual, then I only want casual. Like, I'm not looking for a relationship, whatever. And so I made it clear up front. But AJ was, like, very clingy. Like, you could tell that he was, like, hoping.
Hi, Pip.
Pippin attacking my chair. He was hoping that, like, it would happen. And he would bring me, like, one time he bought me gifts, like, he brought me flowers, and I was just like, I think it's very sweet, but it was awkward,
I think I was AJ in my friend zone relationship, because I would be the person who would have a little bit of extra money on me. So if, like, me and friend zone were splitting food, it's because I bought it and cared about him eating.
Right.
Yeah.
And I felt weird. Like, obviously it's very nice when someone, thinks about you and things, but, like, I had made it clear that I wasn't looking for a relationship. So, and he kept acting like we were in a relationship. So that was basically the reason why we ended up breaking things off, even the friends with benefits, was because he was getting way too attached way too quickly. Like, we had only known each other for, like, a month or so, and this dude was, like, super cling. And so he finally broke it off because he was getting too, like, attached, and I just didn't want to. And by the end of it, he basically told me, not even basically, he told me he thought he could change my mind about only being casual. And I was like, dude, like, I'm not leading you on when I say that I want casual only. I'm being honest with you. Why do people think that they can change your mind?
I feel like
awful.
I feel like that's a part of, like, friend zone culture, is that, like, at some point one partner in the friend zone is just trying to wear someone else down. Like, I was actively always trying to wear my friend zone dude down. Like, I was
Right.
always there. I had gifts. I was the person who made sure he ate. I was the person he came to if, like, he hated his girlfriend
Right.
for the day or something. And it's just like, yeah. And then one day he'll just remember about me. And then, like, we have sex. And then I'm like, well, I've got other things that I got to go do. And then he's confused.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of pressure though when like somebody is like it's so one-sided that it almost makes you feel bad. Like he was buying me gifts.
Yeah.
He was clearly thinking about me a lot more than I was thinking about him. And so I felt bad. I was like I don't feel this way about you, and I'm, to be honest with you, even if I was ready for a relationship, he like came on way too strong and way too hard. I think even if I was ready for a relationship at that point, I don't think we were compatible. Mm-hmm. It was like I could it felt, you know, when someone feels a little too desperate and it feels like they just want a relationship, like they just want intimacy, and I was like, if that's what it felt like to me, is like I was just the person giving him attention, and that's why. I don't know. Now I don't know if that's necessarily true, but that's what it came off as to me.
I mean, I used to be that girl in high school and college where it's like, would anyone like to look at me?
Yeah. So those are my only experiences with friend zoning, because let's be honest, I get whoever I want.
Do you think that in different circumstances, you and either one of your friend zones could have worked as like a true partnership?
I think the first one, Cameron, like I feel like he and I actually had a lot in common. Like our chemistry was really good, like and we had a good friendship, and I feel like that could have been more. But I think he just wasn't into me, which is, you know, obviously whatever. But it would have been interesting to see where it went. I had thought about it, like when I was I don't know if he ever did, like, oh, what would it be like to be with Dina? Like, I have no clue, right. But me, I thought about it a few times, just because we got along so well, so.
When friends, I only have one friend from my hometown, it's Stephanie, she's been on the podcast, but when Stephanie asks me, like, I mean, what do you think your life would have been like if you had stayed and not moved to Ohio or whatever, I fully believe that I would be married to Friendzone, and we would be in some, and we would be, it wouldn't be great. We would be in some toxic ass marriage, and neither one of us, because I truly think, based off of the very little information I know from Facebook, that he's healed a little too, and that, like, I've healed a lot, but he's healed a little too. And I think if we had gotten married when we were in our, like, intense simmer toxic spiral, that growth would have taken longer. So, like, we'd be married on the way to divorce.
I see. So do you think it would, like, oh God, I don't want to get you called a C word again from his now wife, but do you think it would have worked out if you guys, like, now, like, if you say you guys just on whatever, a whim, he was single or whatever, do you think it would have worked out?
Probably not. Okay. Because I have no interest in, number one, making my life fit back into where I grew up.
You think he's in that mindset of, like, still hometown kind of vibe?
I don't know, because I haven't talked to him in a while. But I'm also not in the mindset where I want my life to fit anyone's narrative that isn't my own. And I think when you have, like, a husband or a live-in partner, like, you have to change your story trajectory a lot to fit whatever they've got going on too, and I'm just not interested.
That's true. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Do we have time, Dina, before we manifest, for me to touch on my anger associated with the friend zone?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
I'm all about the anger.
So, as I've grown into a more independent and stronger woman who doesn't need relationships with men to fuel whatever it is that she's doing. I realize that I think that the friend zone is just a really toxic mindset to have about people of the opposite sex that are around you but don't want to have sex with you. I feel like it's this like mean thing that we tell, like, well, she just put me in the friend zone.
Oh.
We're like, I did something wrong because you didn't get your way.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that.
And I almost got into my first bar fight about it.
What? What the hell? Who gets into a bar fight over the friend zone, Natalie? What are you doing?
Me.
All right, let's hear it.
So we were at silent disco, me and my girls, and I was dancing because I love to dance, and I came off of the dance floor, and one of my girls was like, oh, I'm glad that you're here because some guy is bothering over here. So I walk over, and this guy, like, heard about our girls' night plans from one of my friends at work. He worked with her. He showed up at our place of dancing. He did not pay to get headphones or anything. Like, he wasn't there to, like, actually be like, oh, I decided to come too because it sounds really fun. He was there to convince her to ditch us and go somewhere with him.
Oh, my God.
And then that all happened before I walked up. I heard about this, like, after the fact. Then I roll up and, like, one of my girls is like, hey, Natalie, tell this dude how you feel about the friend zone. And I'm drunk and all adrenaline high from dancing. So I was like, the friend zone is for guys who can't get their dick wet but want to yell about it and blame women for not having better dick game. That guy then called me a derogative term that we use for lesbians that I will not.
Wow.
He told me to take my blank self and fly away. And I was like, just because I don't want your dick doesn't mean I'd take another dick.
Damn.
He and I get into, like, this altercation where he keeps calling me names.
Wow.
And he keeps trying to be like, oh, you think you know things, this, that, or the other. And finally I looked at him, and I think it was, like, after he said something horrendously mean or something. And I took my purse and I handed it to one of my girls. And she was like, at that moment, I just heard, no. Finish him in my head.
KO! Like, I'm so ready for this.
And I, like, handed her my purse, and I looked him dead in the eye, and I go, I'll take you outside right now, and I'll kick your ass, and your boys won't even recognize you after I'm done. You want to fight me about this? Let's fight me about this.
Ooh, I love this. I love a good battle. It's the Aries in me. I'm ready.
And so I was like, because you seem to be very angry about the fact that my girl doesn't want to have sex with you. You need to go. And he went. So I didn't get to physically fight him, but I would have.
I truly believe you would have knocked him on his ass. What a way to get it. Why? He got so aggressive so fast.
Because I hate that. Because, like, don't come into my place of entertainment and tell my girl that whatever she's doing is lame and she should go to some second location with you.
Creep. He was a creep 3,000. That's awful.
And then she wants to apologize for me. I was like, we don't apologize for weak men. We don't do it.
No,
this ain't
not
got
that
nothing
guy.
To do with you.
That ain't the guy.
We don't apologize for men. So, like, in my perfect world, I would like a relationship to stem from a friendship because I already know that I can stand you for multiple moods and hours and facets of your life because we're friends and we have some sort, like I was telling you this week that you and two other friends are the only people that I have true emotional, mental intimacy with.
Right.
And I can't transfer that into a romantic relationship because I think that once sex happens, we all just forget to be mentally and emotionally involved too.
Right. That's true. You're right.
And I would And I would love
putting in the effort.
Yeah. I would love to strike up this really deep friendship with someone. I mean, my friend zone friendship was toxic, but what if it had been a good friendship? What if we weren't our meanest, worst selves during that?
Yeah. Not wrong.
Not wrong. All right.
Manifest.
Yep. Let's do it. Where's my sheet? All right. So I want my next sexual relationship to be one that grows from a true intimate friendship and a lovely mental and emotional connection. But like not a friendship like the one that I talked about today where it's this like weird low simmer toxic, like we're attracted to one another but we refuse to do anything about it. Like literally just like one day we look at one another and go, my life might be better if you're my actual romantic partner. And then I would like to manifest that this past partner that I talked about today is happier and in a better emotional and mental place. I know that we both were struggling throughout our 6-year friendship or sexual relationship with just like a lot of emotional angst. And I hope that my future romantic relationships are also rooted in just like mellow. I just want like no drama anymore. Not everything has to be an episode of Riverdale for me to be interested.
True, it doesn't. For me, I am manifesting that my next relationship has mutual want from both of us. You know, it's not one-sided where one person is more into the other, but that we both want a romantic relationship with one another and are ready to move into an adult relationship. I just don't want someone who's into me and I'm not into them, or they're, you know, not into me and I'm into them. Like, whatever. I'm not looking for that. And then for the 2 dudes that I talked about today, I hope that they found someone that they can be with who is ready for a relationship just as much as they are. And I hope they're both happy with where they're at.
Yeah, that's all we want. We just want everyone to be happy so that they can give and take what I can give and take.
That's right. You right, though.
That's right. That's all we want.
No, we won't.
That's all we want. All right, are we ready for plugs?
Let's do it.
All right. So make sure to like and subscribe. A 5-star review would honestly be the icing on the cake if you really enjoyed what you heard. You can follow us on Instagram at Men I've Tolerated Pod. We would also love it if you like commented on posts there what you were liking, or answered any of the polls or the little questions that we put in our stories. You can follow me at Natalie K124. My new blog full of my art projects and some of the witchy witch stuff that I do is at nataliesinspiration.com. And you can email us questions about your relationships or anything you need advice on at menI'veToleratedBefore@gmail.
And you can follow me on Instagram at ms_caboose, Miss Caboose. And there's actually links to most of my social media, including my Twitch account if you want to watch me game. And yeah, the podcast is out and thriving, and we're so happy that we've received good comments about it. I'm excited.
Yeah. It's kind of weird to be talking about how we actually got on our ass and released the podcast 17 episodes in.
I know, right? People, like, I tell people, like, oh, like, how many episodes do you guys have? And I'm like, we literally have, like, 16 episodes recorded. Like, Jesus. And they're like, holy shit. I'm like, we did work during quarantine, man.
We did work, and we had to figure out the whole, like, posting side of it, but we're trying.
We are. We're doing our best. For real.
And we appreciate all of the support that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Are we ready to wrap up?
I think we are.
All right, tolerators. You remember out there, we don't smile over anything we're tolerating.
Good vibes
Smiles
only.
are for joy.
That's right.